the center of the ring, just like a circus. All eyes. A dedication to peace. Peace is the only win-win possibility. Peace is the only truth that we need seek. Peace is the only end to the division within, the divided nature that yields to a yin and yang perception where we feel that the darkness must accompany the light, but as we evolve, we are in evolution. We are currently evolving as a culture, as a company, as a tribe, as a one, as a union. We are evolving into a peaceful dimension. Feel yourself traveling there. Feel the opening. Feel the rushing open of your gut and your soaring self. Feel the truth come swinging into a golden light that perpetrates and penetrates your third eye, the pituitary gland, taking you to places where you can understand what it is and what it always has been. We always have been peace. We always will be peace. But we're trapped on a gerbil wheel in a declaration of our loss of independence. Like elephants who were trained in the circus, held together as ropes first when we were young, tied into a straight line so we knew in which space we would belong. But after a while of being tied into one space for so long, the ringleaders realized they didn't even need the rope anymore. That we would just do it ourselves. That we would willingly line up every day and check in for roll call. That we would refuse to resist. That we would forget to persist with our own dreams, which lay outside the shadow of their bling-bling dream. The beautification of the soul is not something they know anything about. It's not something they know anything about. And they have us all trapped in this game. But then we realize we're trapping ourselves too. Just like the people who always blame their parents for never loving them enough. Let me tell you, I've been one of those people. But at some point, we have to stand up and be willing to love ourselves where the world hasn't done it for us. We have to be willing to take dominion and to take control of our understandings of each other, of our understandings of what it means to love and let love, to live and let live, to breathe in the air, knowing that your enemies are breathing this same air, that it's recycled from their lungs, that it's recycled from gunpowder and poison, but also starlight and stardust, and you have to be willing to turn on the light inside, to cut the hole in the roof to let it in. So I take control. I take responsibility. I don't belong to anybody. I don't belong to any conspiracies or realities or truths of others that are not my own. I am shaping the space that I exist in. Whatever else exists, I treat it as best I can, from what I know now, with compassion, with honesty, to the best I can, to the best I know how, because it's an ever-evolving process, and truth comes from many angles and many sides. Ain't nothing I ever seen black and white. Nothing is simple, but everything can be simplified. into what matters most with the time that we have on this wild, unpredictable, unexplainable ride. The parts that can be fun, the parts that can be won, the parts that have been lost, the parts that are washing away, the things that are crumbling. The beauty, the tragedy, the beauty, the insane beauty, the magnificent, blissful beauty, the bountiful, benevolent beauty, the tender, soft beauty of a caterpillar crawling along, soft still, like I am, making my physical body strong, the number one priority for way, way, way too long. But you can't evolve in every place at once, so you have to have a little patience, a little gentleness, a little forgiveness, a little self-reflection and understanding, and then a changing of habits, a changing of ways, a changing so that all the dis-ease that runs through your family, well, you can be the door that it runs out. You can be the door that it runs out. You can change your DNA, you can change your genetics, you can change your story, you can change it all by the way that you think, by the words that you speak, by the truths that emanate from your mouth, whether they be songs of sorrow and sadness, of victimization, of disgrace, of empathy. Greed is the ugliest, isn't it? How do you let go? How do you let go of the addiction to the dark space? Each one of us has to do it, because as soon as you feel good and conscious for a while, it starts to get a little uncomfortable, and you think, how can I bring myself back? Well, maybe you don't think it consciously, but we tend to, or at least from my observation, I think we tend to allow ourselves to fall back into this familiar space where society has conditioned us to complain and complain and complain. And all of it's done in vain if you're not taking the next step. So, for peace, for the passion of peace, for the fact that everyone living here on this earth wants to feel love, wants to feel beauty, wants to feel joy, and if they're hate mongers and their fear and the terror is in them, like an abused dog that will bite at you when really it just needs love. It just needs love. All the pain in the world can be solved with love, and I know that we're business people and we have to make money as long as this perpetuating game is going, so try and make it consciously. You can do that. There's enough of us willing to chip in now for a conscious economy. And let all those big boy monster machines crumble and fall and drop into the swelling of their own ego.